guys, welcome to The Last Ego on Earth. I just had a quick message real quick for you before I get started. In the last few videos, I'm new at this, I have been kind of experimenting on a way of communication with you guys. So a lot of times you'll see like a scroll underneath or words popping up. I know that it's been a little rocky because I've been inspired to put those things up, but I'm not quite sure how to leave them up in the certain areas that I want to. So please, if it is a little distracting for you, feel free to just understand that I'm experimenting a little bit. I know some of you have had to pause the messages, which that might be okay for you. Maybe you're getting the message twice. But I am going to be experimenting and try to make it a little bit easier with my communication. This is my great instrument now, and I am fine-tuning it so I can be a better messenger and play my music a little bit sweeter for you guys. So I'm not apologizing and I don't feel guilty. I'm just letting you know on my end what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to accomplish for you. This is all about communicating to my brothers and sisters, and I want the best message to come from me and the most sweetest sounds for your ears to hear. Thank you guys so much for everything. And I do this for out of love for myself and for you. So thank you so much. Much appreciated. And I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye. Hello, dear brothers and sisters. This is James Scott Shoemaker, and this is The Last Ego on Earth. I hope everybody's doing well right now. I thought we would go ahead and continue on today with Chapter 1, the Meaning of Miracles. We're going to head on to page 4, the Meaning of Miracles, Chapter 1, 13 through 25. And here we go with 13, guys. 13. Miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back, but really go forward. They undo the past in the present, and thus release the future. So what this means here is that in our present moment right now, we can be happy with God if we choose God. So going forward, if we're to walk that line, and something upsetting happens to us or seems to happen to us through the day, where we have a judgment upon someone, or we get an upsetting call, or someone is sick, we can find peace instead of having judgment upon those situations, and then hand those over to God. And with that, we can undo those moments in the seeming space-time that we were in. So upsets from the past can be forgiven in the present if we are able to forgive and hand it over to Holy Spirit. Okay, number 14. Miracles bear witness to truth. They are convincing because they arise from conviction. Without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather, an uncreative use of mind. So what that means is you have to have conviction behind your forgiveness. You have to go all the way with it. You can't have just a little bit of forgiveness for someone. You have to completely hand it over. And it does take time, but you must have conviction behind it. It's not like, oh yeah, I forgive you, but then you're really cursing them in your head for the rest of the day. You've got to fully hand it over to Holy Spirit for it to finally heal within inside of our minds. And it promises that is the case. And I have been witness to that. It's happened to me. You just have to keep letting it go. There might be something that from the past that has hurt you. You just gotta let it go and let it go and let it go. And the easier it will get to keep releasing that pain. And like it says here on 14:3, without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather an uncreative use of mind. That's just what I was saying. If it will deteriorate, it just turns into what seems like you're giving forgiveness just becomes mindless and it's destructive to you. You're actually creating more problems when you think that you've forgiven someone but don't have the conviction of actually handing it over. All right, guys, number 15. Each day should be devoted to miracles. The purpose of time is to enable you to learn how to use time constructively. It is thus a teaching device and a means to an end. Time will cease when it is no longer useful in facilitating learning. So what this means, guys, is that every day should be dedicated to forgiveness. A lot of times we don't. A lot of times we are playing the world, and that's okay. Like I said, Holy Spirit will wait for us till we're ready to forgive something. So don't ever feel guilty that you're not actually on the track of forgiveness. Sometimes we make mistakes. But the best thing is to do is to realize if you have made a mistake and are unforgiving to something or a situation, that it's okay that you misstepped. And then once you make that decision that, oh gosh, I made a mistake, go ahead and let it go then. And that's okay. It's not about feeling guilty with the Course ever. So if you feel like you've made a mistake, oh my God, I really shouldn't have talked to that person in this fashion today, think about it that evening and say, hey, I think about that person and say, I forgive that I did that to you. I forgive myself for having that judgment upon you. Be kind to yourself about it. And then just say, hey, Holy Spirit, it's this easy, guys. Holy Spirit, take this away from me. And it'll be done. And slowly you're doing that with everything else. So use time constructively. That's what it's basically saying, is this whole world here for us has become a lesson for us, a schoolroom for us to have forgiveness for ourselves and other people. And before you know it, time, it says, will cease when it is no longer useful. So in the end, whenever that is, we don't know when that will be, that the more you forgive, the more you forgive, the more you forgive, we will no longer need time and we'll be on to God or to heaven. So that's a great, all the nightmarish things that are happening on the planet will be over at that time, because the lessons will be learned. There will be no separation anymore. 17, miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the bodily level. That is why they heal. We talked about it in a couple of episodes ago that we are not actually bodies. The body and the body mind is actually the computer system. So Holy Spirit can reach in through that the bodily self and reach to the soul, where the actual true forgiveness is awakening you. And we're dejunking our mind, which has all the guilt and all the hidden things that are messing us up. So it's beyond our bodies that the true forgiveness or the miracle actually occurs. 16, miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating it is as blessed to give as to receive. They simultaneously increase the strength of the giver and supply strength to the receiver. So when we are giving out our miracles or giving out our forgiveness to our brothers and sisters in the world, soon as we hand that over and we are giving those miracles to our brothers and sisters, they are receiving it. We're gaining strength and are knowing that we're safe here, and our brothers are too. Brothers and sisters are too. A lot of times it does say in the Course that we might not actually see that with our brothers and sisters, though. We might not see that they have received that gift, but they have. So we don't know when they're actually that thought or that love or that forgiveness that we've given them will happen, but that's Holy Spirit's job, that they're taking care of them. All you really need to do is worry about you and your forgiveness. The forgiveness is said to have been received, and vice versa. You're both healed in those moments. Number 18, a miracle is a service. It is the maximal service you can render to another. It is a way of loving your neighbors as yourself. You recognize your own and your neighbor's worth simultaneously. I really like that one a lot. Love your neighbor. That's the way to go. You just see yourself in that person, even if they're upset. Remember, you're the one that has the power to see that and see it's not real and that it's a part of us. We are all one collective. That person's hurting, you've been hurt before too. So have compassion in those moments. And then if you have any judgment on them, oh my gosh, they're really out of control today, this is insane. Yeah. When you have that, don't stuff it inside yourself anymore. Let it over. Hand it over to Holy Spirit. Take care of it. Boom, gone. It's perfect. Number 19, miracles make minds one in God. They depend on cooperation because the sonship is the sum of all that God created. Miracles therefore reflect the laws of eternity and not time. This means that miracles, forgiveness, makes all of us one with God once we realize that there is no separation actually happening. Those judgments and are the blocks to love's presence. So they depend on cooperation because the sonship is the sum of all that God created. We are the sonship. The entire world is the sonship of God. So miracles therefore reflect the laws of eternity. So that that reflection of our forgiveness, an uncovering of that, is the laws of eternity and not time, because time is made now when we are choosing Holy Spirit. Time is for our classroom of forgiveness. It becomes a great school and learning of love, a love over ego thoughts of hate and destruction. So it's really beautiful. Number 20, miracles reawaken the awareness that the spirit, not the body, is the altar of truth. This is the recognition that leads to the healing power of the miracle. So miracles reawaken the awareness that spirit and not the body is the altar of the truth. So the altar is the altar of God, is where we place what we're thinking to God. So think of your altar as either you're going with the ego system where you don't forgive and you place it there for God, which he can do nothing, or you place your judgments on that altar for God to hand it over for him to take it, or for Holy Spirit to take it. So it's saying that the spirit is the correct way to go and not your body, because your body is this system that is keeping us trapped. So use the altar of truth and placing those judgments upon that to let it be handed over. And this recognition of using it correctly will lead to our healing power of forgiveness, or the miracle. 21. Miracles are natural signs of forgiveness. Through miracles, you accept God's forgiveness by extending it to others. So miracles are the signs of forgiveness. I use them interchangeably. I think the miracle is any encounter that you have that comes in front of you is that chance for forgiveness. So if it's an upset, that's your time to use forgiveness upon that so that you can release you and your brother or sister in that moment. And through miracles, you accept God's forgiveness by extending it to others. So once you have extended those forgiveness to the brothers and sisters, that is from God, and it releases you by extension. Number 22, miracles are associated with fear only because of the belief that darkness can hide. You believe that what your physical eyes cannot see does not exist. This leads to the denial of spiritual sight. Spiritual sight, when you're connected to Holy Spirit, is our true eyes that can actually see that it's not real what's going on in our illusion of our world. This is definitely speaking of a spiritual and a illusion, because we really are one with our brothers. So the judgments and mistakes that people are having are really something that needs to be judged upon with our spiritual selves, or with our heart, not our bodily eyes. Bodily eyes will continually give us those blinders that we were talking about. 23. Miracles rearrange perception. and place all levels in true perspective. This is healing because sickness comes from confusing the levels. So once we're doing this forgiveness, it gets easier and easier, and we're no longer confusing everything. We actually know that we should choose Holy Spirit every moment. And this is true forgiveness, because it says sickness comes from confusing. When you're confused about how to forgive, it makes it jumbled and jargon. So you've got to understand that how to forgive. And it's a very simple thing of just truly being willing to let it totally over. Like, the past is the past, and right now is the only thing that's truly happening to you. So it's about going within with Holy Spirit, looking upon the things that you've judged, that you've been hurt upon, even if it's the hardest things that you can even imagine that you've gone through. And I'm sure a lot of you have. But it gets easier and easier to forgive with Holy Spirit and trust that it will be taken care of. Number 24, miracles enable you to heal the sick and raise the dead because you made sickness and death yourself, and can therefore abolish both. You are a miracle, capable of creating in the likeness of your Creator. Everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. So only love is real. We've created a nightmarish world that we've been living over and over and over and over. So we need to recognize that fact, that we're kind of like in the middle of a book of a story. Like, the whole book's already been written, and we're in the middle of the pages right now. And we're just playing out a story that God has already created a solution to, and it's already over. But we still believe that we're in that story. And the only way that we can get out of this story is to ask Holy Spirit to show us the right pages to flip to get out all the way to the end and back to God. And that we've created the nightmare because we're great creators, but we were creating without God. So it caught us lost along the way, along the path. It became very dark. So we've got to connect back to that light, because it says only the creation of light are real. Only the creations of light are real. All right. Number 25. Miracles are part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness, which, when completed, is the atonement. Atonement works all the time and in all the dimensions of time. So this one's a really great one. So miracles are an interlocking chain of forgiveness. So it's saying miracles are a part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness. So when I forgive, and my other brother and sister are on the same track of forgiveness, and then someone else gets it in another part of the world, we are creating a forgiveness chain that gets us quicker out of the dream. And this is the atonement. The atonement was created to help us out of the dream through the Holy Spirit. It's kind of the medicine to the sickness that we've had, our dementia, say. So the atonement works all the time, all in all dimensions of time. So every single layer of the infinity of the creation that we created, when we start forgiving, it starts collapsing the time back to love. And once we do that, we will go home to God, and we will all be there together. It's actually very beautiful. So guys, there we go. We have chapter 1, the Meaning of Miracles, part 2, finally. I will be going over the next 1-2 pages in the next episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know I sure did. It's been such a wonderful ride already, guys. It's been such a short time, but I'm getting wonderful messages from you guys, and it just really warms my heart, and I feel so blessed. Thank you all, and I cannot wait to see you guys for the next episode of The Last Ego on Earth. Let's make that conversation, guys. Keep bringing it to me. I'm really enjoying speaking to you guys. This is an open-ended conversation. Thank you guys, and peace. Peace. All right, guys, that ends our episode of The Last Ego on Earth. I want to end cap this, though, with a question for you. What is a issue that you're having today that you think you could try to let go over to Holy Spirit? And it doesn't mean the entire thing has to be let go right now, but just kind of think of something that has been bothering you for a long time and think about maybe trying to let that go over to Holy Spirit. Just close your eyes and say, Holy Spirit, I'm thinking of so-and-so. And then say, Holy Spirit, please take this away from me. I no longer want this. That's what the Course is talking about, putting it on an altar for God. We're laying down our perceived upsets on that altar so that Holy Spirit can take it away. Jesus can take it away. And once that is taken away, it's taken away. It might remain a little bit because we're not willing to give it all over yet, but it is a step. So then the next day, maybe give it a little bit later. Maybe keep it for a week or two, a month, but then make that decision to give it away. Just keep giving it away, start getting lighter and lighter. It'll loosen that load, and before you know it, you're living in a happy world. All right, guys, I love you so much. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.